Hey guys, welcome back to part 2 of our Weber carburetor segment. So in this video we're going to try and just concentrate on restoring our air horns. So I have ordered out a 1.5 gallon nickel plating kit from Caswell. I have not done any nickel plating before, so it should be interesting to see exactly what's involved with that. Process for nickel plating a little bit different than our zinc plating. I've done a couple previous videos on the zinc plating process with the various yellow and blue chromates. These won't have any kind of chromate on them. It'll just be pretty straightforward with the nickel plating, which is a little bit different amperage wise and process wise to our zinc. So the main thing on these is we're going to have to restore the condition of the existing nickel to almost perfect condition, and then we will replate over the top. So I thought we'd be stripping these down complete and then re-nickel plating, but according to Caswell, who I talk to frequently, he has recommended that I leave the original nickel plating in place, sand and polish these up, and then replate over the top for the best possible finish. Okay, so there's all 6 of them. So from here we're going to take them outside and clean them all up with some good old-fashioned soapy water, give them a cold water rinse, blow them off, and then we're going to soak them in a de-rusting agent. Alright, let's take a look and see what our horns look like now after they've been soaking in this overnight. Still pretty grubby looking, and the pitting that you're looking at here and the discoloration, this is not rust. It's actually just a dark metal residue where the rust used to inhabit, but the rust is gone. So what we're going to do from here, we're going to wet sand these up by hand, starting with 1,000 grit. We're going to work up to 2,000 grit, then 3,000 grit, and then we're going to put them on a buffing wheel and polish them. So let's get started on the wet sanding and see what it looks like step by step. Okay, so just getting started here. So I'm pre-soaking my sandpaper to soften it up in some fresh, clean, soapy water, using a little dish soap in there. And I'll be changing this water every time I change grit. So we're starting with 1,000. And I also like to use a good quality wet sandpaper. I've had really good luck with the 3M, so we'll stick with that. And our air horns here. So the first thing I'm going to do before we start sanding, I'm going to go around the edges of these horns here. They got a couple of nicks and dings in there just from being beaten around a garage for 50 years. Just kind of look it over real good, deburr it, make sure everything's nice and smooth around the edge, and then we'll start our sanding. And checking the bottom side. So with the 1,000 grit, we're really going to have to spend some time with this one, because this is the one that's going to remove most of our imperfections. Once we move past this, there's very little we can do with any imperfections. Okay, so after sanding with 1,000 grit for about an hour, got to tell you, this nickel plating is just so hard. Went through an entire pack of sandpaper, hardly even scratched it. And some of the pitting and flaking on our old nickel plating here is a little bit more aggressive than I'd hoped for here. You can see here it's pretty aggressive. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to hook it up on the wire wheel, buff these with a wire wheel just to make sure the metal flakes off all the rust and loose bits there. Then I'm going to go in again and resand with 1,000 grit. You can see there it's starting to look a little bit better. So let me go through that and then we'll take another look at it. Alright, and just having a quick look here and see what our uniform looks like with all 6 done. This is about 4 hours of sanding here, up through 3,000 grit. Our color is starting to look real uniform. We're sanded up smooth as we can get. Pitting is not going to come out pretty much no matter what we do. But however we come out of polishing is pretty much going to be the finished look, even after we put our nickel plating on top. And then just a quick look at our nickel polishing kit here by Caswell. So real nice kit. Everything included here that you're going to need. Different compounds, different hardness of buffing pads and tooling. So pretty much everything you're going to need here to get you through your nickel polishing. So I'm using a thick piece of rubber to grip the outside of the horn with. It's getting so hot to hang on to, I can hardly get that polisher down in there without letting go, so that should help. That's definitely better. No problem hanging on to it now. Okay guys, so that's about as shiny and smooth as we're going to be able to get this. So from here we're going to take it to some alcohol cleaning and then wire them up. So we have our bucket warming up outside in the sun. Daytime temperature out here right now about 100. Inside temperature of our black bucket, which is not included in the Caswell kit, about 110 degrees inside. And then inside here we have our nickel anodes all cleaned up and ready to go here. This is what our anode kit looks like. So we're wrapping them in gauze. I've cut them and put tails on them so we can hook our electrical leads to them and then slightly conform them to the shape of the bucket. I've already pre-mixed, according to Caswell instructions last night, the green crystals and this bottle of brightener. So we're just about ready to go here. And one other detail I thought I might share with you. So I've had really good success with my zinc electroplating using this type of a fish pump. So this is the size of the pump and the manufacturer. And the nice thing about this pump is it really circulates the water in there, and I've had much better success with all my electroplating with a stronger current. So the more flow you have passing over your parts, the nicer they're going to turn out. At least it seems like with my stuff. So I recommend this. We're going to drop that in the bucket and then pin it to the side according to where the circulation looks best. So this is going to be our wiring with everything wired up here, pretty tall leads, and I'm just basically using some 12 gauge Romex wiring stripped back here. This was Jason from Caswell's idea. Looks like a real good idea. So got some heavy duty wiring on there, a little tough to bend and make the shapes, but I think we should have good current flowing through there all the way through. And then let's have a look at our setup over here. So this is what the process is going to be. Right now I've got one of the horns soaking in our degreaser soap. So that's going to soak for 20 minutes. We're going to come out of there, go into our degreaser rinse that down with a squirt bottle, distilled water only. We're going to come out of there and go into our sulfuric acid dip, just for a few seconds in there. Probably will start fizzing, and once we come out of there, we're going to go into our sulfuric acid rinse, which is distilled water. We're going to rinse it down quickly with distilled water out of a bottle, and then quickly into our tank here. And the whole purpose of this sulfuric acid, the way Jason had described it to me, so apparently what happens is once you strip back the oxidized layer on nickel and expose it back to its bare surface, within minutes it starts reforming a new oxidative layer that prevents it from being plated. So this sulfuric acid dip here, this will strip away any oxidation that's beginning to form, as long as we quickly get it back into this tank. And then just panning back at our setup here. And one more rinse bucket for our nickel bath. And this is the amperage I'm using on the horn. Try that, see how that works. And we'll just let that sit in there for 35 minutes. So we're getting close here. So for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to take this by hand, being careful not to breach this solution, keeping it submerged and moving it around. Getting good motion in there. Just do that for 5 minutes before we pull it. and then our final nickel polish. Alright, let's take a look at our final product here and see what we got. So 2 full days to get through these things complete, and really happy with the way this turned out. So I want to thank Jason from Caswell for all your tech support and getting us through this. A beautiful job with the Caswell system, and really nothing to worry about with that system. Real easy to use, and it seems to be much simpler than our zinc electroplating. Here's some of the zinc parts that I've electroplated that's come off the same carburetors. You can see our yellow zinc, silver, and also our black chromate finish. Very cool. Look at this. I mean, just awesome. Yeah, if you're looking to do some electroplating, I really recommend the Caswell system. As all their anodes, high quality, and chromates, you won't have any problem with them at all. Okay guys, it's definitely time for a cold beer, so I'm going to take a break and get out of this heat. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.